Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees. It is October and we always think about fall when we think about October, and we think about the colors of the leaves for up north changing from brown to orange and these beautiful colored leaves. Well, orange is always associated with October. That's why we get pumpkins in October. We think about pumpkins. Well, here in South Florida, it is persimmon season. And there's two types of persimmons that grow here in South Florida. And one of them is called Hudson, which is also known as South Florida persimmon. And the other one's called Triumph persimmon. Now, no other persimmons will really do well out here in South Florida. And the reason why is because these two persimmons do not need the required chill hours as other persimmons do, or if you live up north. So you can go 2 to 3 hours north here and grow Fuyu persimmons and other persimmons. But here in the South, those are the only two ones that are known to do really well out here. And I'm standing here in front of my persimmon tree, and there are persimmons here. This particular one is the South Florida persimmon, and they are looking great. The season started about a month ago, so it actually started in September. And I have a Triumph tree as well, but that one didn't do as well this year. But in today's video, it's going to be a short video. I'm going to take you to a lady named Ruth, and she's been on the show before. And we're going to take a quick look at her persimmon tree because she has one of these trees and it does great every year. And I like to go back there and see how it's doing and hear about how she's trimming it and keeping it up. So we're going to go there today. And I also want to show you my Triumph tree in the front. But this is my persimmon tree. And it's quite an interesting tree because it will lose its leaves in the summertime. So it's not the best tree to have up front if you want aesthetics at your house. But it certainly is a nice small tree that's packed with fruit. Now, from my experience with me and others, it takes a while to get going when you first put it in the ground. This tree here must be 8 years old. And in the video, I'm also going to show you Julian from Laura Farms. His tree is 20 years old, and he has a Triumph tree, and his is loaded. So my friend Bobby went down there, and I had him shoot some of the video of his tree. So we'll look at that real quick too. It's going to be a quick one today, but I just wanted to encourage you and remind you, if you live in South Florida, this is a tree you want to get, the persimmon tree. Now, I don't know anyone who currently has the Hudson or the South Florida persimmon currently for sale at the moment. Some nurseries sometimes have them and will in the future. But if you want the Triumph tree, I know Laura Farms is working on grafting some, but right now Nick's Edibles in Orlando, he has them available, and I'll post his Facebook page below. He has them available for sale. Definitely a tree to get, even if you're not in South Florida. It'll grow great in Central Florida as well, and it's astringent, so you can't eat these hard. You gotta wait till they get soft. Now, if you want to get hard persimmons or Fuyu persimmons in the mail, there's a great farm that I went to a couple of years ago, or last year actually. I'll put the link to that video below. Sweet Georgia Persimmons, and they can mail you a box of Fuyu persimmons in the mail, which is just such a great treat this time of year. But let me show you now the video I did at Ruth, and then we'll go look at Laura Farms tree. And here we go. I'm here back at Ruth's house, and I did a video with Ruth last year. I'll put the link below. She has an amazing amount of trees that are so close. Ruth, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Paul. How about yourself?
Very good, very good. And you have an amazing yard here. And one of the highlights of your yard this time of year is your persimmon tree.
Correct.
If you don't remember last year, I'll put that link below. But you have a tropical persimmon, also known as a Hudson, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And how long have you had this tree?
According to the stake, I've had it since 2017.
Okay, so show us the tree here, Priya. So when did it start? How big was it when you got it?
It was probably 2.5 feet. It was a grafted tree.
Okay.
Came from Trees and More.
Okay.
And it started producing fruit 2 years later.
Okay, so 2 years later, it was producing fruit after you got it. And that was several years ago, and every year it's been fruiting?
Yes, some years it's a better fruit yield than others. This is a pretty decent year. You can see I trimmed it back pretty heavy in the spring. I also trim it, the leaders and the top mid-season, and it just continues to produce.
Why do you trim it? What's your reason for trimming it?
It just gets too big. I'm trying to keep it manageable so I can reach the fruit.
So is it a quick grower?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And why do you think some years get more than others? Any idea?
I don't know. Sometimes it's just climate. I mean, depending what the conditions were and if I get the fruit off the tree soon enough.
Okay, now for those that don't know, there's two trees that grow here in South Florida, persimmons-wise, that grow in the tropical. There's this one, which is the tropical persimmon, also known as the Hudson, and then there's one called the Triumph persimmon that they have over down at Laura Farms. Those are the only two ones that will take the low amount of chill hours that we have. Some others might do well if we get a season with more chill hours, but that's not usually the case, right?
Yeah, I tried some other persimmons and they didn't make it because it just wasn't cold enough.
Now the Triumph and this tropical, these are known as astringent persimmons because you can't eat them when they're hard. You have to wait till they get soft, right?
Yes, they have to be soft. This is one that I just picked. You can feel it.
See, this is one that's soft, and you see the difference in the color, too. They're both orange, but one's a light orange, one's a dark orange. And I'll give you a few other examples from my tree and other trees of this particular tree and also the Triumph. So here's one. I see another, and that's how you could tell. Now, from my tree, Ruth, when they get like that, the birds find them before I do.
Well, that's why I try and come out every morning and pick, because even if they're slightly orange, they will ripen up this time of year.
So they will now, will these ripen off the tree, or you got to wait till they turn color?
They have to be a little more color.
Okay. And these, you only have one tree here, right?
Right. I had two, and I just didn't have the space for two, so I gave it to a friend and kept this one.
Now, they self-pollinate?
Yes.
They self-pollinate,
Yep.
Okay. All right, and how easy are these to graft on if you have a rootstock?
I'm not sure. We're going to start, Mike at Trees and More has a lot of rootstock that he's planted, and we'll cut this tree back in the spring and we'll try grafting then. I don't know if we're going to do a cleft graft or if we're going to bud. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, and this tree, folks, I'm going to walk around the tree here, is loaded. And you're saying every morning you're finding, right, we see another one in here.
Yep.
Oh, this one's really ripe. This one looks like might have got eaten by a bug.
Yeah, this one's been, I didn't get to it in time. It's been munched.
Yeah, that one.
We'll leave it for the critters.
There's one there.
Yeah. There's a couple inside up there.
Okay.
This one's ready.
And in looking at this, even though you trimmed it, they're still pretty close. This one's your, what, your custard apple?
That's a Rollinia custard apple.
Rollinia.
No, sorry, a custard apple,
Custard
reticulata.
apple. And you plant them pretty close and no problem?
No problem. You have to prune. That's the trick is pruning.
Is there anything else you want to say about the persimmon?
No, it's delicious.
It's delicious.
It makes wonderful ice cream, bread, jams, everything.
Okay, maybe I could have one before I go?
You can, of course.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and so there's the persimmon tree. Now, all right, everybody, that was Ruth, and that was her tree. She has the Hudson South Florida variety. And as she said, Mike from Trees and More and her are working on grafting a bunch of those trees on the proper rootstock. So in the future, Mike at Trees and More will have some of that tree available, which is pretty cool because I don't know any other nursery that's looking to graft those. I know Zeal Nursery had that years ago, but they don't have them in stock currently, but they're planning on adding them in the future as well. So stay tuned for that, and you know I'll keep you updated here at Fruitful Trees. Now here's my Triumph persimmon tree, and this one only had 3 persimmons on it this year, but I'm going to show you a clip. My friend Bobby went down to Laura Farms, Miami, and he has several trees of these that have been in the ground now for 20 years. So I'm going to show you what a 20-year tree of the Triumph persimmon looks like. So let's go check that out now.
I'll tell you a little bit about my persimmon trees. This is the Triumph persimmons, which was developed in Israel for a more hotter climate. So as you can see, these things make a lot of fruit. And I'm looking for one that's ready to eat right now, so I can open it up for you.
Here's one.
Okay. All right. Here is a Triumph persimmon.
Yeah, I got a knife.
No, I don't need a knife. You see? It opens up. And then it reminds me of a star apple.
Star
Caimito.
apple. Okay.
Now, I'm almost halfway through the season. And there's still a lot left on the trees. And every year it doesn't disappoint. It makes tons of fruit every year. There's some good sized fruit. And believe it or not, these trees are over 20 years old.
And they're kind of dwarf.
And it's very dwarfy, yeah. But this is the biggest one out of the bunch.
And this is a variety called Triumph.
Triumph, yes.
Not the Zill variety, right?
No, this is not the Hudson or...
All right, everybody. That was Julian at laurafarmsmiami.com. And he would usually have that tree available for sale, but he's sold out right now. But he is going to graft some more in the future. I know he's got the rootstock, the correct rootstock. But here I am ending the video here. I told you it would be a quick one today. This is another one of the Hudson tropical persimmon, the one I have and the one Ruth has. This is my neighbor Ram's tree. And his tree was planted the same time mine is. And his tree as well is loaded. And something interesting is not only is it loaded, but it looks like he has more than one tree, but this tree always sprouts more trees. So he has almost a row of like 4 or 5 trees here in a row. This variety is common for doing that. So that's interesting. My trees don't do that as much, but he has some rootstock here. As you can see, that's from one tree. And he's even dug some of it up and using it. So I don't know how that will do as the rootstock, because I don't know what rootstock was originally used and so on. But I do know that this tree is doing great. It's about the same timing as my tree. But if you don't get these fruits quick enough, when they turn soft, this is what happens. The bugs get to them quite quickly. So as Ruth said, you got to get them at the right stage before they get too soft. That's when they're best to take off the tree, but the bugs know that, so the bugs will get it at that point as well. So I got to tell my neighbor it's time to get this one off the tree or the bugs will get it. But that's the color you want to get them. But again, these take a while to grow. They can grow in a pot for a while, but eventually you do want to get them in the ground. It is right now October 16th, 2025. These have been fruiting for about a month now. They started in September, and that's about the time they do every year. And depending on the size of the tree, I mean, Julian's already sold out of his fruit, but that's because he's selling it online. But if he wasn't selling it, it would last longer. But usually September, October, then maybe into November, but usually it's done by then. And this is for South Florida. And Julian's an hour south of where we are, so it might be a little bit different where we are. And I would suppose if you go up north, usually everything's a little bit later because it gets warmer later. But there you go. I'll put all the links below if you want a Triumph tree. Right now, the only one I know who has them in stock is Nick's Edibles in Orlando. I'll put the link below to that, to the Facebook page where you can contact him. And the other places I mentioned, I'll put below as well. Thank you for watching, everybody, and keep growing.